you for having me here again. It's been a year of travel and unexpected different experiences. Instead of camping, this year was more like bike riding on a beautiful electric bike. Yes, and cat sitting and house sitting in a beautiful setting. Who knew? But as everything unfolded, we learned that we are all divinely guided. So we experienced all kinds of emotions, from joy to grief, exuberance to sadness, heart-opening scenery to heart-opening despair. And here, in the month of November, we are invited to let it all go. Right? Release it, give it up, but not to worry. I'm not asking you to hand over your livelihood. Only the stuff that no longer serves us are we supposed to let go. And that is an important point. We sometimes mix up connecting with attaching. Attachment is when we want something that lasts forever and feel we need to control it, to keep it, to hang on, no matter what. It can be stressful, right? And you feel it in your body. Connection is more fluid and is open to the unexpected. There is a sense of freedom and allowing. And so I right away want to share a quote from Charles Fillmore about receive and release. He says, "It is just as necessary that one should learn to let go of thoughts, conditions, and substances in consciousness, body and affairs, when they have served their purpose and one no longer needs them, as it is that one should lay hold of new ideas and new substance to meet one's daily requirements." You know, he knew how hard that is because he said one should learn to let go. You've all been there. So back in April, a friend of ours was hiking in the mountains and she broke her ankle. We got the benefit of it because we got to take care of her friend's house in a beautiful cabin overlooking Windermere Lake. And a breathtaking, beautiful view. We saw eagle, osprey, hummingbirds, deer, mountain sheep, just right next to the cabin. It was absolutely amazing. And we met two lovely little kitties we fell in love with. We came back to Calgary just around the time when my mom announced, you know what, guys, I have enough. I had enough of living. I'm 92. I'm in and out of the hospital several times, water retention, trying to get the water down in her body. She didn't want anymore. And so, you know, all I could do was support that idea. Because there she was, letting go, even of the body. Right? So she transitioned in June, 28th of June. And we made plans to be there for the burial of the urn because with my connection to my mom, I was clear I did not have to go and see her and then come back again when she had passed. We had several conversations on the phone. That was good enough. And in September we went And it was a magical time on all different kinds of levels. We spent a lot of time with my siblings. We felt each other. We spent the time in each other's company. We talked from the heart. And another good thing we experienced was Jan and we decided to stay in an Airbnb instead of with relatives and friends. And that was so much easier on everybody. We sure walked a lot, over there in Germany. Even bus rides were fun. So we had a good time. We had a simple memorial at the cemetery with a handful of cousins and my siblings, and I said a few words to honor my mom's life. And I realized how deeply I connected I felt. And that brings to me a sense of peace. As we landed back in Calgary, we learned that on our flight home, the Queen had made her transition. And because I had already made arrangements to go back to BC to look after those little kitty cats again, I was destined to watch the funeral service by myself. Well, I thought it was well done, a little bigger than my mother's. But that's okay. She was a little bigger than my mom. And but then I observed the passing of the crown, scepter, and imperial orb. Remember that moment when it was taken off the casket? And I thought, wow, isn't that interesting? Even a person of that stature can take nothing with her. Queen Elizabeth was born a baby girl, a princess, became queen, lived and reigned 70 years, died as the queen, and got buried as a woman. All the earthly attachments are now stopped. What remains are the connections. And I experienced the connection to my mom again, as I remembered her from the time I was a little girl, that she watched all the broadcasting that happened to involve the Queen. And I saw her tearing up and getting emotional. And so I knew there was a connection there. And I lived that connection through my mom. I had no attachment to neither, but I had that connection. And that's an important idea. However, being in BC, surrounded by this stunning, picturesque scenery, seeing nature unfold in the form of a hungry bear in the neighborhood yard, eating apples all day long and coming back the next day, eating more, left me with awe. First, of course, I was afraid. Being so close to a wild, huge animal. But then I noticed the bear had only one thing in mind, to feed itself. That was its focus. And I was not even in its vision. So I felt deeply grateful being left alone to observe that magnificent animal, and felt my deep connection, not only with nature, but also with the divine source of my being. Life is good and very good. I'm certain that I'm affirming and creating in this moment life-affirming experiences. However, in our quest to release, all experience are to be let go of. And so, the mother is gone, the queen is gone, the bear is gone. BC is gone. I'm back here in Calgary, in the city. And it's time to let go and now make room for the new. Well, the connection of the divine is always here, like we're affirming it daily. And here in your center, spiritually, with your affirmation and your daily messages. The answer is then, what do we do when we all of a sudden feel our day to come back into that regulated system and maybe perhaps let in the despair or disappointment or sadness or anything that may draw us a little down? What do we do then? Where do we go to? Where do we look to? The answer is we do whatever it takes to celebrate our majestic self. Whatever it takes, we look at what works for us. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, sorrow looks back, worry looks around, and faith looks up. And that's what I like to practice right now, if you allow me. Emma Curtis Hopkins, known in the New Thought philosophy as the teacher of all teachers, taught us to look up. And if you want to participate in this exercise, I ask you to just look straight forward and then raise your eyes until you meet where ceiling and wall meets. You could draw the straight line, you don't have to go to the steep spot. And once you're there, not to be straining your neck or straining your eyes too high, just repeat this after me. Steadfastly facing thee.
Steadfastly facing thee.
There is no evil on my pathway.
There is no evil on my pathway.
Steadfastly facing thee.
Steadfastly facing thee.
There is no matter with its loss.
There is no matter with its loss.
Steadfastly facing thee.
Steadfastly facing thee.
There is no loss, no lack, no deprivation.
There is no loss, no lack, no deprivation.
Steadfastly facing thee.
Steadfastly facing thee.
There is no fear.
There is no fear.
For there is no power to hurt.
For there is no power to hurt.
Steadfastly facing thee.
Steadfastly facing thee.
There is neither sin, nor sickness, nor death.
There is no sickness, nor sickness, nor death.
And now you can relax and look wherever you want to. This is it. This 30 seconds or however long that took, look up. Look up. You don't have to remember the words. Just look up. Faith looks up. And now I found an article online because I'm always searching to look what can I add to this talk and make it relevant to people in this teaching. And I found an article from Myrtle Fillmore, long time ago, but it was so interesting to me that I want to share 2 paragraphs. I won't read you the full article because that makes me overtime. So, Jesus, I told the life in my liver that it was not torpid or inert, but full of vigor and energy. I told the life in my stomach that it was not weak or ineffective and inefficient, but energetic, strong, and intelligent. I told the life in my abdomen that it was no longer infested with ignorant thoughts or disease, but there by myself and by doctors, but that it was all athrill with sweet, pure, wholesome energy of God. I told my limbs that they were active and strong. I told my eyes that they did not see of themselves, but that they expressed the sight of spirit, and that they were drawing on an unlimited source. I told them that they were young eyes, clear, bright eyes, because the light of God shone right through them. I told my heart that the pure love of Jesus Christ flowed in and out through its beatings, and that all the world felt its joyous pulsation. I went to all the life centers in my body and spoke words of truth to them, words of strength and power. I asked their forgiveness for the foolish, ignorant curse that I had pursued in the past, when I had condemned them and called them weak, inefficient, and diseased. I did not become discouraged at their being slow to wake up, but kept right on, both silently and aloud, declaring the words of truth until the organs responded. And neither did I forget to tell them that they were free, unlimited spirit. I told them that they were not corruptible flesh, but centers of life and energy, omnipresent. Wow. This woman healed her body. She was a sickly person from young life. So was her husband. And they both lived into their 90s. So, that's how Myrtle Fillmore celebrated her majestic self. And so, I asked myself, what do I say to my body parts? How do I speak to myself? Right? And to mind came a poem that I want to share with you again. And it's The Dash by Linda Ellis. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on a tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what matters most of all was the dash between the years. For that dash represents all the time that they spent alive on earth, and now only those who love them know what the little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love, and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger, and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's action to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash? Something to think about. And I close with a little inspiration from the world of Facebook. A friend posted it and I just loved it so much. And this is our wish to you. I hope there are days when your coffee tastes like magic. Your playlist makes you dance. Strangers make you smile. And night skies touches your soul. I hope you fall in love with being alive again. Thank you. Join me in a little meditation. If you so desire, you may close your eyes. And in this moment, I'm asking for guidance. Guidance for what to let go of, when and how. I clear out, eliminate, and give away what I no longer need. And so I let go of not only physical clutter, but also thoughts, habits, even relationships that are no longer working for my highest good. I release any unforgiveness or judgments that tether me to the past. And I begin to affirm a vital and positive life in this present moment. My experiences in all their variety have led me to this moment today. And for the next few minutes, I practice letting go. I release what no longer serves me, and I make room for new circumstances and new experiences. Gently we bring ourselves back to continue with the face